back, Munchkins. It's Munchie here. Welcome to Munchie's Place for Homeless Pets, where I rescue with my volunteers hamsters, gerbils, and mice here in Washington State. I'm a 501c3 status rescue. We go out and rescue ourselves, or sometimes people will surrender to our rescue. But in this situation, this little fella was from OfferUp. His name is Grumpy. Well, at least we call him Grumpy. Today, we will talk about his story and why this enclosure is not appropriate, which you guys are probably familiar with. I have already reviewed this. 450 square inches is the minimum here in the United States, and why horizontal is better than vertical for burrow animals. Burrow animals that need to be in the ground, not up in the sky. They're not like rats, they're not like mice, they're not like chinchillas, where chinchillas live in the mountains. There's a clear reason why they need height, because they climb, they jump. And due to height, you can accidentally hurt your animal, especially if there's a fall from this high all the way down to the very bottom. A lot of people think, oh, a fall like that would not hurt them. We've taken in several dwarf hamsters that have had some sort of stargazing, eye injury, neurological issue like seizures, because they were falling off of their high ledges. People would trust a company to say, well, this is for hamsters because it's a cage and that's what they're used to and that's what we've been making for years. That is absolutely wrong. And it's unfortunate that I've been told myself, well, you're just a YouTuber. You don't know anything. You have apparently no experience and no say how people make their enclosures. I know companies like to make money. Companies are still making metal gridded wheels, and that's not okay. And people will be like, well, gerbils can use them. Gerbils have had their tails cut off by them by several different styles, and even though they themselves don't get bumblefoot, hamsters do. People buy them for hamsters because they are on the cheap side. They're always looking at cheap options. And if a company is making a product that doesn't work, but because it's cheap, people are still buying it, they're gonna keep making it. They're not gonna, take the animal's interests at heart. And of course, people, if they want to do their research, they can. It is out there, but a lot don't. But a lot just won't see the side of YouTube where people are on this platform to try to educate you and to give you enlightenment. sort of, I'm enlightening you a little bit about the dangers of these types of enclosures. Remember guys, 450 plus square inches must be horizontal, cannot be vertical, and make sure you understand your species needs. These guys travel in the wild 5 to 10 miles a night, and hopefully within the next couple years, our minimum floor space for the United States and Canada will increase if more companies take on the aspect of, hey, they need more bigger horizontal space. Consumers are asking for it, we will deliver. Like Night Angel. Night Angel is a very great example. Please check out Night Angel if you have not already. When looking on OfferUp, this is what I saw. I just saw a hamster, and it said hamster, and I'm so surprised this was not flagged. It says hamster with all supplies and food, everything that needed. Everything that needed. But of course, the cage is what got us to be like, oh no, that's really bad. That's a very bad cage. So our volunteer went out, got this animal, and this is just the intake notes of the animal, Grumpy. Russian dwarf hamster listed on OfferUp. Now, we thought at first it could have been a winter white. However, the body shape and face are much different, much more lean body. However, this little hamster is overweight. We've had issues with dwarf hamsters that have liver disease or something going on like a tumor, and we've actually had a lot of surgeries and medication for dwarf hamsters recently, especially males that have these weird bulges on their sides. So I'm a little bit nervous about this guy because he's so big. He's 60 grams for a Russian dwarf hamster. That is nowhere near what a Russian dwarf hamster should be. Now in America, Russian dwarf hamsters are not pure, they are hybrids. Was in an all living thing start cage, 1 to 2 inches of bedding, although I'm looking at it now, I would say probably 2 inches in some areas, but in most areas 1. Now in this one in particular, this bedding is both paper and then underneath it there is litter pellets. And this might be the crumpled litter that is appropriate for hamsters and small animals. Just never get cat litter. Do not get cat litter. That is inappropriate. That is not good for them. And usually cat litter has baking soda in it, which is very dangerous for small animals. Don't get them that. But it looks like there's at least 2 different types of bedding in there. They probably were doing that for kind of like a ammonia cover up. Paper absorbs, but you can smell it a lot quicker. Came with an exercise ball, which we don't have anymore. It was a big exercise ball too, but exercise balls, don't use them because they get very musky, dirty, filthy. They roll around, they can't see where they're going. Sometimes it could be hard to push them. So just free roam out there. It is safe. You can make a little playpen. Just make sure you are supervising. You can't just leave them unsupervised. They can climb out and escape. So please be mindful of that. Owners think it was a boy, but wasn't sure. I picked him up last night and he is indeed a boy. Was from the pet store, which we assume PetSmart because that's where this cage is from. They kept for 1 month before rehoming. 1 month. Sometimes people buy animals impulsively, and that's what we tend to see, where people are like, oh, I thought this was going to be better than this. I don't really like this. And then they just push them aside. That's what this felt like. It felt like they just gave up. They're like, oh, this isn't what we expected. Here you go. Which is sad. We should always value an animal. When we want to get an animal, do your research. Do your due diligence. If you're not doing that and just impulsively get it, it puts that animal in harm's way unknowingly. So you're unintentionally causing it harm, and hopefully with education and more insight into small rodent keeping, hamster keeping, gerbil keeping, that we can educate the general public, and hopefully these companies that keep promoting this stuff saying, oh yes, it's definitely appropriate, they probably don't even own any small animal rodents, and they are just selling this because that is what they're used to for years. If you're not interacting and engaging with that animal, you're not going to see the full potential of that animal. There's just been a lot of people that are like, oh my gosh, I can't believe a rabbit could be trained to like dunk hoops into a little mini hoop. Yes, they can. They can be very personal. Oh, I can't believe rats can actually sniff out bombs in Africa. That's incredible. Yes, they can if trained appropriately. Like, the animal kingdom is fantastic, and we just need to pay more respects to our animal companions. The other thing is that pet store said that he was 4 months old at the time, so possibly he's around 5+ months old. I would say 5 to 7 months. They say they are, and this is why I'm saying that they toss them out. They say they are remodeling their bedroom and have no room for pets right now. Claims he needs to be away from their kids, but is kept in the living room where it's a high traffic area where people kept touching him. So I don't know how many kids this person had. Obviously this was supposed to be for a child, and then realized, oh, this animal doesn't like their child. When I took in the animal and I was trying to interact with it, even inside the carrier, this animal was clearly very neurotic. They were swiping and they were saying, go away, I don't like you, go away. That is a very agitated animal. And so, of course, if kept in a high traffic area, can't sleep during the day like they're supposed to, is constantly being woken up or interacted with or poked at, and just poked at through the bars instead of actually holding the animal, it is going to make that animal's life so miserable, and you can start to see stress-related illnesses pop up with the animal, which is why I'm a little bit concerned due to the size of him and also just those bulging sides. I hope that losing weight will cause those sides to go down. If not, he is going to the vets. There is some emergencies that are absolutely important for the vets right away. There's others that you must observe first, get to know the animal a little bit more, see if anything improves. If it doesn't, take him to the vets. And remember, guys, the vets in America right now, they're really overbooked. If you need to get to an emergency, have a plan, have a backup plan. Make sure you know your exotic emergency vets around the area. And also prepare to travel, because in Washington it's very easy to get to one place to another, although traffic can be very terrible. But in other places, like parts of the country, you're driving 2 hours away to an exotic vet, and that's insane. The other reason why he could be overweight, which I do see he's chewed his wheel part area here, is because this wheel is so dinky, so small. This is, I think, either a 5-inch wheel or a 6-inch wheel, but I think this is the 5.5-inch wheel. Dwarf hamsters need to have at least 8 inches of wheel size in order for them to run with a flat back. If it's too small, they start arching their back and it becomes very difficult for them to run. So right now, I think Grumpy has a lot of potential. He's very cute, and that also worries me too, because some people will see an ad for a very cute hamster, but they do have special needs or they are territorial, and of course people inquire even though they are not the appropriate home for them. But this little guy, I think he has a lot of potential. I can see me picking him up. I just have to be careful. He's very, very nervous. He runs away. He doesn't want to be interacted with. But I think over time, once he gets used to me, once I reward him, I think he'll be a great teenage to adult hamster. I don't think he's gonna be for kids anymore. I think that's just done and over with. He needs people that will understand we're gonna take our time. We're not gonna go quick with you. We're gonna let you explore. If you gently nip, I'm not going to overreact like kids might. So Grumpy is gonna be with the right people, hopefully. And I love being the matchmaker. I like doing this. It's so sad that this year there's been absolutely almost no one adopting at the rescue. So if you do have friends and family who are interested in animal, please encourage to think adoption first. Shelters right now, including us, are absolutely full. We cannot take in any more animals. And so we want to encourage people out there to think of adoption first, especially if you are looking for a specific type of animal. We have the experience. We are interacting with them every day. Plus, we have foster homes that will interact with those that need more interaction out there. So you can also consider fostering with a rescue too if you don't want to stay committed to one animal while helping out a majority of animals that come through the shelter. And let me know if you're fostering down below. I would love to hear if you guys are a part of the foster community. That would be fantastic. And if you like the video, hit like. And I'll see you around in the next video. Subscribe if you're new here and would like to become a part of the Munchkin family. And adios for now. Bye-bye!